Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, a new coronavirus executive order is now in effect for Bexar County. More details just ahead.
New coronavirus concerns from our nation's top doctors. Now the White House says it's preparing for a possible spike this fall. I'm Alex Brachet in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And taking a live look outside, you can see it is a beautiful morning, 79 degrees at 4:30. Not too bad.
Not bad at all. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is June 22nd, and we want to welcome Patty Santos on board for most of this week here on GMSA. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Patty.
Glad to be here. Happy Father's Day to you guys.
Thank you. It was a nice weekend. Of course, the main headline out there is not only is it warm, is it humid, we're waiting on that Saharan Dust to arrive. And Justin Horde is in this week, I believe, all week for Mike Osterhage.
All week.
Yes.
And we'll be watching the dust. It's interesting, you know, it's arriving with our rain chances. So we were talking about, the weather group was talking about the fact that maybe we could get some mud falling out of the sky.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Yeah, you know, mix it up a little bit this summer. Yeah, we're well into summer now, and temperatures are starting to really respond to that. We're looking at upper 90s today. It's going to be a hot day. We're watching a couple storms here across parts of Oklahoma and North Texas. These are not going to make it here today, but I do want to watch this area tomorrow because I think we'll see some storms up here, and these may drop south into our area tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures at this hour, 79 degrees at the airport, 77 Comfort, 74 Las Maples, 77 right now Tarpley. It's a warm morning. We've got the morning clouds, pretty typical, right? Forecast temperatures today up around 97. It's going to feel more like 101, 102 as we get into the afternoon when you factor in that humidity. So it's another hot summer day. But again, the rain chances will kick in later this week. So that's the good news. 97 our high temperature. We'll drop down to 90 at 8 o'clock. Yes, with our long days, we still got sun at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk more about the potential for that dust, our rain chances, when they'll arrive, and how much rain we could see. That's coming up here in just a few minutes. But let's talk traffic this morning. Officer Marcus Trujillo with us. How are things looking?
Well, so far, things are looking pretty good, Justin. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone at home. As we take a look at the roadways, everything is in the green, so that's great news. Maybe not so much your lawn, but at least the roadways, the travel out there, looking pretty good. Let's take a look at TransGuide 410 Highway 151. Travel moving along fairly well with no problems there. 35 at Evans. North and southbound lanes have plenty of room out there. And as we continue on, 410 to Callahan, so far, no issues, but it is still early this morning. Patty?
All right, thanks. Record daily numbers of coronavirus cases have been a trend in Bexar County this past week, and now we've hit another one. Local officials have called these new high numbers a second wave of the virus. Sarah Costa is live from downtown. Good morning, Sarah. What's the latest?
Good morning, Patty and Mark. Well, the number of cases of COVID-19 continue to grow in Bexar County. Yesterday, 538 cases were recorded. It's the most ever recorded cases in a single day in the area. The new cases brought the total case tally to 6,882 positive cases. A total of 2,774 people have recovered, and we have 4,108 active cases. One new death was reported yesterday, bringing that total up to 97 people. In the past 2 weeks, San Antonio has added more than 3,000 cases, making up roughly 40% of the area's total count, marking what local officials have deemed a second wave. Last week, County Judge Nelson Wolf issued an order for all businesses to require employees and customers to wear masks when social distancing is not possible. Wolf's order comes after Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order on June 3rd, banning local governments from imposing fines or criminal penalties on people who don't wear masks in public. So make sure you tune into KSAT at 2 p.m. where we will be taking Governor Abbott's press conference where he will give an update on the state's continued response to the pandemic. So again, we're airing it on KSAT at 2 p.m. We'll also be streaming it live online at KSAT.com and on KSAT TV's streaming device app. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Mark and Patty.
Meanwhile, parts of the country are entering phase 2 of reopening today.
But there are new warnings from top doctors about an alarming uptick in COVID cases. The White House is now preparing for a surge this fall. ABC's Alex Brachet has more from Washington.
Today, a major milestone. New York City, once the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, will enter phase 2 of reopening. Restaurants prepared over the weekend, setting up socially distanced outdoor seating for patrons. But doctors are sounding the alarm elsewhere. At least 11 states set record highs in cases this weekend. Hospitalizations are up in 17. And the former head of the Food and Drug Administration warns that Arizona, Texas, and Florida could see exponential growth this week.
The challenge with exponential growth is everything looks okay until suddenly it doesn't. And so this is something that has to be a concern of everyone that's been watching this.
Florida, one of those states that opened early, has already had more than 3,100 deaths.
I don't feel like people are doing enough of a job of keeping social distancing and keeping masks on their face. People are getting a little bit more tired of wearing these masks, but this is not the time to do that.
More than half of their reported cases this past Saturday were patients under the age of 35. The governor, who first attributed the increase to more testing, now admitting there's more to it.
That's an indication, certainly in that age group, that you're seeing more transmission in the community. It's not purely just a function of the fact that they're testing more.
The White House says it's making preparations for a spike later this year.
We are filling the stockpile in anticipation of a possible problem in the fall.
I saved hundreds of thousands of lives.
But the president, who boasted about his coronavirus leadership during a rally in Tulsa this weekend, is now facing criticism for saying this.
When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
The president's allies are defending him, saying that that was just a joke. There are roughly 6,200 people at that rally. Now, Oklahoma health officials are urging anyone who's attended a large gathering in recent weeks to get tested. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Authorities are looking into 2 separate shootings that happened within an hour of each other in northeast Bexar County last night. The first one on Chipping near Walsham Road. Bexar County deputies say a suspect shot at a vehicle with people inside, including a small child. That vehicle was driven to the HEB on Walsham and Montgomery, where the victims then called for help. No injuries were reported. Deputies are still searching for the suspects this morning.
Shortly after that, San Antonio police responded to another call on Shorthorn Drive near Nacogdoches Road. They say the victim in this shooting showed up to the suspect's home to collect a debt last night. During that interaction, the suspect told police that the victim took out a machete. Police say the shooter was found inside with a wound to the chest that looked like a knife wound or stab wound. The suspect told police it was that injury which caused him to shoot the victim multiple times in the chest to defend himself. Both the shooting victim and the shooter were taken to the hospital. Detectives are investigating. It is unclear if any charges will be filed.
Just getting started here on GMSA right now. It's just about 4:38, 79 degrees.
Well, still ahead on GMSA, we'll have a first look at new details on the investigation of Idaho parents Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell following the death of Vallow's children.
And next, protests over police brutality continue across the nation, with some ending in violence over the weekend. And we go outside with live cam. So good to have you here this morning, Patty.
Thank you. All the cool kids are waking up early.
That's right. We'll be right back. Just about 4:41. Welcome back. In your morning headlines, firefighters responded to plumes of smoke billowing from a hazardous materials facility at a U.S. air base in Japan this morning. Footage showed the facility engulfed in flames and smoke at Okinawa's Kadena Air Base. The roof are also partially caved in. In a statement, the base said a fire at a hazardous materials pharmacy unit happened around 9 a.m. local time. Personnel were evacuated and no injuries have been reported. The cause of the fire is not known.
Protests against police brutality continued over the weekend, with violence erupting in some places. In New York, an NYPD officer is now suspended without pay after he was caught on camera allegedly using a chokehold. Officials are investigating the incident, and one person is dead after a weekend shooting in Seattle's protest zone. Police say they tried to respond to the call, but demonstrators wouldn't let them enter.
NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace says he won't back down from a disturbing threat. A noose was recently found in his team's garage at Talladega Motor Speedway in Alabama. Wallace, the only black driver in NASCAR's top circuit. He was among those who pushed for the banning of Confederate flags at NASCAR events. Last week, his race car had a Black Lives Matter paint scheme. Wallace released a statement on Twitter saying the incident, quote, will not break me, end quote. NASCAR also commented on the matter, saying it's outraged and that an investigation is now underway.
Well, former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton says the threat from North Korea is now greater than when President Trump took office in 2016. During an interview with ABC News, he said he has no doubt that Kim Jong-un's regime is continuing to work on its nuclear and ballistic missile program. He also criticized President Trump's attempts at flattering the dictator. Bolton's new book also alleges that the president and Kim did not want South Korea's president to participate in talks. Today, South Korea's National Security Office said that Bolton has, quote, heavily distorted facts on inter-Korean diplomacy. The country warns that those assertions could harm the U.S.-South Korea alliance.
443, 79 degrees.
Well, still ahead, details on the death of 2 children in Idaho and the arrest of 2 people now charged in the case.
Father's Day especially important for first-time dads. Up next, why one new father is extremely grateful for his brand new son.
In this morning's GMA First Look, new details from the investigation into Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Cell phone pings led investigators to this spot in Chad Daybell's backyard.
Detectives and investigators have recovered what's believed to be human remains.
The gruesome discovery, the bodies of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, the children of Chad's wife Lori, last seen in September.
Ever since she's been involved in this doomsday cult, that is not the same Lori that we knew for 13 years.
Vallow has been charged with 2 counts of felony abandonment of a child. Daybell was arrested in June and charged with 2 counts of concealment of evidence, neither charged with murder, but both pleading not guilty. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you what investigators are saying this morning and what's next for Vallow and Daybell. With your GMA's First Look, I'm Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
We hope you had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. The day was even more special for those celebrating being a dad for the very first time.
ABC's Whit Johnson has a story of one man who became a father a little earlier than expected.
It is my first Father's Day.
That's Bob Conlon heading to the NICU for a special visit.
To go through this whole ordeal and see this child, it is literally like seeing a miracle.
When we first brought you their story, Bob and his wife Shauna were expecting their first child. But at 5 months into her pregnancy, Shauna's water broke, putting her at an extreme risk.
My whole body just fell forward, just in my hands.
Shauna was put on strict bed rest and eventually hospitalized. With COVID-19 visitor restrictions, she and her husband were separated for 12 difficult weeks.
It was just heartbreaking.
But Bob was determined to support his bride, bringing date nights to her about 40 times, ordering dinner from their favorite restaurant, dropping off hers with security, and then taking his seat 4 stories below.
We are all set up, Wonder Baby, Miracle Mom.
Bringing handmade signs Shauna can see from her hospital window.
It's the power of positivity and really trying to stay positive in such a scary situation.
And today,
Happy Father's Day.
that positivity paying off.
He's in there sleeping.
A baby boy, Forrest, weighing in at 4 pounds 3 ounces. And while he is premature, the baby is doing well. Doctors cautiously optimistic. A precious Father's Day. 3 months in the making.
He did everything that he could to be my son, and I need to do everything I can to be his father. And it's just the greatest gift, the greatest gift.
That was ABC's Whit Johnson. Makes you want to cry, doesn't it? Do you remember your first Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I do. Yes.
Magical.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, that's for sure. Here's the weird thing. Patty normally works nights, so some of us are just now meeting for the first time.
Hello there.
Marcus and Patty had not met. And
There's a lot of people that I have not
know,
met.
right? Yeah, and as I told her earlier, we're the vampires. But let's check in with Chief Vampire, Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Chief Vampire, okay. Does that come with a pay raise? Extra days off, anything? Right now, as we take a look at the roadway, so far, traffic still moving along fairly well. Let's take a look. 220 Hildebrand, north and southbound lanes still running smoothly. Moving over to I-10, 410 over on the east side through that construction zone. So far, no problems. A little bit of shake to the camera, but not too bad. And then 35, 37, the interchange here in the downtown vicinity. As we take a look, traffic not too bad. Still light. It's very well lit. Roads are dry. It's Justin's fault if they don't stay that way.
It's Justin's fault? Yeah.
Why not?
Can safely say this morning, as I'm practically speechless here, and car wash people are going to hate me for saying this. This is not the week to get a car wash, and Justin will tell us why.
Yeah, but the good news for the car wash folks is that next week it'll be huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. Yeah, there'll be a lot of people because we're watching this dust plume, right? It's grabbing a lot of headlines, and a lot of people are talking about it because it is rather large. We see this every year, but this one, it seems a little more robust than usual. And we've got this plume on our computer models here. We can actually watch it as it works across the Atlantic. And this dust is in the upper part of the atmosphere. So what it does, and by the way, we'll get our first little plume here coming up tomorrow. It creates sort of a haze in the atmosphere. Will also maybe cause some allergy issues if it's large enough. And I think probably this first wave, we won't see too much from it. But it's this second wave that we're expecting on late Wednesday into Thursday that's going to be a little bit thicker, and you may actually notice it. A lot of times it'll make the sunsets a little more vibrant, and then you'll see that haze in the atmosphere, and then you may start to get a few sniffles, things like that. So this is what we're going to watch late in the week. This sticks with us through Friday, even into the weekend. We're going to see some of this, and it's large. This is going to cover a large area. We're talking from Florida all the way to Texas here, that we're going to see some impacts from this dust. So we'll keep you posted. On top of that, we're going to see some rain chances. So I mentioned earlier that we could see some of those raindrops with a little bit of dust in them. That'll be something interesting to watch as we get later into the week. Here's the setup. Our ridge of high pressure that was over us is starting to shift a little bit, so we're not underneath that heat high, and that's going to allow for some rain chances to kick in as we talked about, and that'll be with us also through the end of the week. The severe risk today is going to be up across North Texas, so we've got some storms up there already along the Red River. These are moving into the Dallas area this morning. This is one of those sort of complexes of showers and storms. It'll be east of us. We're not going to worry about this today, but it's tomorrow. We may see some redevelopment up here. We'll have to watch it because it could drop into our area by tomorrow afternoon. And let's take a look at that computer model. This is just one of our models, but this afternoon shows a couple thunderstorms up around San Angelo, but nothing here. Tomorrow, though, the pattern is such that if we do get some development up here around Dallas, Wichita Falls, some of that could work into our area tomorrow afternoon. So rain chances start to go up tomorrow, and then they'll be with us Thursday, Friday as well, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, before dropping off by the weekend. 79 degrees right now. Dew point is at 72. Some gusty southerly winds at about 13 miles per hour. Temperatures are in the upper 70s in most spots, even still a few 80s out there around New Braunfels. And 84 right now, one of the warm spots out in Del Rio. So this is a pretty typical start here. Dew points are high, and those will stay pretty elevated through the day. So the forecast temperature this afternoon, 97. It's going to feel more like 101, 102 during peak heating. So we're talking about 2, 3, 4 o'clock later this afternoon. Also, we mentioned the wind gusts. They're up there, anywhere from 20 to 22 miles per hour. We'll see some gusts up around 20, I think, through the afternoon. So 97, your high temperature. Heat index up around 102 here in San Antonio. Southerly winds 10 to 20. And then 94 tomorrow. Temperatures start to come down a little bit with these rain chances. We'll watch for some storms tomorrow afternoon, and then scattered downpours. I'd say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, tapers off by Saturday into Sunday. But thankfully, this does bring temperatures down a little bit. Some rain would be nice. I don't know about the mud, though. We'll see how that works out for us, guys.
Thank you, Justin. 453, 79 degrees.
Up next, a special guitar owned by the late Kurt Cobain has sold at auction for a hefty price tag. More details just ahead.
Beyoncé surprise released a powerful Black Lives Matter anthem over the Juneteenth weekend. Black Parade, co-written by Beyoncé and husband Jay-Z, clocks in at nearly 5 minutes and addresses everything from Black Pride to the protests in the wake of George Floyd's death. Black Parade topped iTunes almost immediately. The 1959 Martin acoustic guitar the late Kurt Cobain played on Nirvana's 1993 MTV Unplugged appearance sold for a staggering $6 million Saturday. Julian's Auction says that's one of 5 world records the Hammer price set.
I just lost consciousness.
Comic D.L. Hughley revealed he tested positive for COVID-19 after passing out during a Nashville performance Saturday. He's currently quarantining. And Cyndi Lauper is 67 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
About 3 till 5, 79 degrees.
Still ahead in our next half hour, a brand new executive order goes into effect today for Bexar County. We have what you need to know coming up.
Do your kids play Fortnite? The maker of the games reportedly removed all police cars from the game in a response to Black Lives Matter protests. We have details in Tech Bites.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And here we go, making headlines this morning. A new executive order in effect today. More COVID-19 testing sites becoming available. We have the very latest just ahead.
Plus, former National Security Advisor John Bolton heavily criticizes President Trump in a new interview.
Are you ready for a dirty car or truck? It's going to happen this week. Saharan Dust is making its way across the Lone Star State coming in. We'll have the latest from Justin Horn in for Mike Ostrage. But good morning to you. We hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday. It is June 22nd. And that is Patty Santos.
Hello. I know
Patty.
A lot of people are not used to seeing me up this early because I'm usually up late at night.
Working the night beat. Yes, the 10 o'clock news during the week. You work mainly Monday through Friday,
yes,
right?
Monday through Friday night beat.
Well, I think the last time I saw you was at the KSAT Cattle Drive or something like that.
Yeah, and we were like, hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Yes, I've heard of you. Anyway, but it's good to have you here this morning.
Well, thanks so much. It's a pleasure.
Let's go now and see how things are looking in the weather department. What's the latest on that Saharan dust? When will it be here, Justin, and how long will it stick around?
So I think we're going to see one little plume come through tomorrow, but the bulk of it's going to come through Thursday and Friday. So we're still waiting a little bit longer, but this is a large plume coming across the Atlantic, and I think it will have an impact on us here in South Texas. Right now, temperatures are warm. 79 degrees at the airport, 76 Kerrville, 80 in New Braunfels. We haven't cooled down much at all. Forecast high today, 97. The heat index is going to feel like 102 this afternoon. So it's going to be a hot summer day for sure. And we'll see those temperatures cool a little bit, thankfully, as we get later into the week with some rain chances. We talked about the dust. This is the latest computer model, and it does show that the dust is still out over the Caribbean. So it is not here yet. We're going to see still just partly cloudy skies today. We're not going to worry about that yet. Temperatures we mentioned in the upper 70s, close to 80. No big deal. It is warm, though, and we're going to have cloudy skies to start, and then partly cloudy skies this afternoon. We're thinking 97, that high temperature. Heat index, though, 102 plus. And there's a good southerly breeze this morning, 10 to 20 miles per hour. It'll be gusty through the day. We're going to time out some of those rain chances and how that works with the dust that's going to be coming into the atmosphere. We're going to have more on that coming up in just a bit. But from what I can tell, the roads are still pretty quiet. Marcus, any changes this morning?
Not yet, Justin. Right now, things still look pretty good. So as we move from the map void of any accidents on the highways, we're going to move over to TransGuide. Let's take a look at 1604 at Valley Meadow. You see no problems there in both directions. And then I-10, 410, the interchange on the northwest side looking pretty good. 281 in Hildebrand, north and southbound lanes running smoothly and no problems there. I-10 at Callahan. Mark?
Thank you, Marcus. Freeman Coliseum, the main public COVID-19 testing site in the city, booked through tomorrow. This as the city continues to see record numbers of positive cases over the last week. Our Sarah Costa is live from downtown with some of the testing centers that have openings. And Sarah, we understand the city has opened up a new testing site.
Good morning, Mark. That's right. The city has opened up a new testing site on the far west side. This after several testing locations have just been overwhelmed with appointments. They're going to be doing that new testing site is going to be at the Bexar County Emergency Services. That's a District 2 Fire Station number 121. That's going to happen today from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's located on Talley Road, and we have the address on our website. Now, residents must register before going to get tested. Anyone who is experiencing symptoms, including fever, cough, the inability to taste or smell, and shortness of breath, should be tested. Symptoms can appear 2 to 14 days after exposure, according to the CDC. Now, other places where you can get tested for no cost include Centro Med, the Palo Alto Clinic on Poteet Jordanton Freeway, Texas Med Clinic on Southwest Military, and the Walmart on West Military. And of course, Freeman Coliseum, like you said, is booked until Tuesday. The city is working on opening up more testing locations. So just head to KSAT.com and you can find a list of all of those locations that we just mentioned and the addresses. All of these will need appointments. Again, just head to KSAT.com and you can find all of that information. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News. Mark and Patty.
Thanks, Sarah. Meanwhile, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention planning to update its recommendation on face masks. CDC researchers have been conducting a scientific review about the masks during the pandemic. Scientists wanted to study if they protect people from contracting COVID-19, not just preventing them from spreading it. The CDC has already published guidance on its website, but the new guidance is expected soon.
We have also learned that 3 more VIA employees have tested positive for COVID-19. With these additional cases, there are now 14 VIA operators, 7 administrative employees, and 8 maintenance workers who have tested positive. 17 employees are now recovering at home, and the rest have been cleared to return to work. Of the 3 new cases, 2 were operators. You can find the list of their routes and bus numbers at KSAT.com.
New details this morning from John Bolton's first broadcast interview about his new book.
That's right. The former National Security Advisor tells ABC News that the November election is the last guardrail to protect the country from President Donald Trump. ABC's Kenneth Moten has more.
I don't think he's fit for office. I don't think he has the competence to carry out the job. I'm not going to vote for him in November.
Overnight, a scathing portrayal of President Trump. Ex-staffer John Bolton sitting down one-on-one with ABC's Martha Raddatz, discussing his book about his time in the White House, including the president's approach to foreign affairs. From North Korea,
compliments to this brutal dictator would convince him that you could make a deal with Donald Trump, I thought was both strikingly naive and dangerous.
To Russia.
I think Putin thinks he can play him like a fiddle.
Bolton blames the president for putting his personal interests ahead of the country's.
Donald Trump got a lot. The U.S. itself got nothing.
The book, The Room Where It Happened, being released tomorrow, describes Trump as irrational and foolish and claims there is a pattern behind the president's decision-making process.
He was so focused on the re-election that longer-term considerations fell by the wayside.
Bolton alleges that the Ukraine controversy, which led to Trump's impeachment, was just one of many potential impeachable offenses by the president.
He said to Xi Jinping directly would help him in the farm states. A really, to me, stunning statement by a president to the leader of an adversarial foreign country.
President Trump has blasted Bolton, saying he broke the law and will pay a big price in possible losses of book profits and potential criminal charges. Democrats and Republicans have questioned why Bolton never sought to testify in House impeachment hearings.
I was fully prepared if I got a subpoena.
Looking ahead to the presidential election in November, Bolton said this.
How do you think history will remember Donald Trump?
I hope it will remember him as a one-term president.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Right now it's 5:07, 79 degrees.
Still ahead, the maker of an online video game popular with kids is apparently responding to Black Lives Matter's protests.
As Disneyland looks to reopen, one group fighting for the park to stay closed a little bit longer.
And you're taking a live look outside. At time right now, 5:08, 79 degrees, a dusty week ahead.
That's right. We'll get more from Justin coming up here on Good Morning San Antonio. Stick around.
Well, in your morning consumer headlines, Chinese telecom giant Huawei is facing new troubles in building 5G devices. A new U.S. policy now stops any chip maker that uses American technology from selling to Huawei. The U.S. government is accusing the company of allowing the Chinese government to spy through its networks.
A union that represents many Disneyland employees wants to delay the opening of the park. Disneyland currently scheduled to reopen July 17th. In a letter to California's governor, the union says it does not believe the park will be safe for employees. Disneyland has announced new safety measures like reduced capacity, temperature checks, increased cleaning and face mask requirements for guests. The union criticized Disney's lack of plan to test employees for coronavirus. Meanwhile, Disney's sister park in Orlando is scheduled to reopen July 11th. Florida just reported its highest number of COVID infections since the pandemic started.
And the time right now is 5:12, 79 degrees, nice warm summer. We are now in summer.
Yes, we are. First day was Saturday. Still ahead on GMSA. A video game with many young kids is the latest to show off an apparent response to the Black Lives Matter protests.
Plus, we're highlighting a recent graduate from UTSA next in our Great Graduates series.
3 derm ingredients in 1 cream? Don't settle for less. New Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer from L'Oreal with not just 1, but 3 derm recommended ingredients. Pro-retinol plus hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, all in 1 powerful cream. Revitalift does so much more than just hydrate. It visibly reduces wrinkles, firms, and brightens. Now that's triple power. New Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer from L'Oreal. We're worth it.
My gums are irritated. I don't have to worry about that. Do I?
Harmful bacteria lurk just below the gum line.
Crest Gum Detoxify, voted Product of the Year. It works below the gum line to neutralize harmful plaque bacteria and help reverse early gum damage. Gum Detoxify from Crest.
Love them, hate their laundry. Protection. Lysol Laundry Sanitizer kills 99.9% of bacteria. Detergent alone can't. Lysol, what it takes to protect.
Welcome back. Quarter past the hour. Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference gets underway today. ABC's Kenneth Moten has a preview and more in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, no new hardware is expected at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference today. Instead, the company is expected to announce that the microchips powering its Mac computers will change. The move may allow Apple to make thinner laptops with better battery life. Gamers say they're not seeing any police cars in Fortnite after its latest update. That change was apparently made in response to protests over police brutality. A published report says Epic Games removed the cars because it was trying to be sensitive about the issues players face. Finally, Amazon's Big Style Sale 2020 gets underway today. The company says it will include big price cuts on top name brands and Amazon's own in-house lines. So far, it's unclear how long the sale will last. It's expected to go on for at least 2 days. So enjoy. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
We here at KSAT have been shining a spotlight on our local high school and college graduates.
Stephanie Serna introduces us to a recent graduate from the University of Incarnate Word who is a veteran, a nurse, and is looking forward to helping others during this challenging time.
My mother's actually a nurse, and just seeing everything that she did really inspired me.
Rhonda Catalina has always been drawn to the medical field, so when she joined the Navy as enlisted, she was a hospital corpsman.
So I spent about 7 years doing medical care in the Navy and transitioned to this side. So my dream's always been to be a nurse. It just took me about 10 years to get there.
Rhonda now has a bachelor's in science nursing, and through the Navy's medical enlisted commissioning program, Rhonda was able to remain active duty throughout nursing school at the University of the Incarnate Word.
After I graduated, I got commissioned into the U.S. Navy Nurse Corps. So in a couple months, I'll be moving to North Carolina and working at a naval hospital there. I transferred from the enlisted side to the officer side, so I'm starting out as an 01 in the Nurse Corps.
Rhonda is originally from Shelbyville, Illinois, but her service has taken her to Italy, San Diego, and San Antonio, where she says she did a lot of community outreach with the Incarnate Word.
They focus on not just the educational material, but like a holistic and spiritual aspect of caring for people. And they really care about like the underserved populations and reaching out to them and giving us the tools that we need to help people. So it was a really special experience to learn at the Incarnate Word.
Stephanie Serna, KSAT 12 News.
Oh, well done, Rhonda. We wish you the very best.
All right, well, let's check in with traffic. What's going on out there? I know when I drove in this morning, nobody. Very different than compared to the 3 p.m. when I drive in.
It's a different world when you wake up in the middle of the night and try to drive into work. Sometimes you have to dodge some things. Right now, no accidents, so no dodging going out there. 35, 37, the interchange looks pretty good. 1604 Bandera right now, all is quiet, but give it a couple hours. We'll have some vehicles out there, but nowhere near the congestion that we normally see during the normal school year when there's nothing going on. 1604 at Valley Meadow, so far still no issues there. And then checking here, 1604 up on the northwest side. Traffic still light, but it's still very dark. And at least the roads are dry.
Yes, they are. So it's not going to be a Dubai-style dust storm, but it's going to be noticeable what's about to happen around here.
Yes, I don't want to oversell it, but you're exactly right. So it's not, don't think of it like a dust storm coming in and there's dust everywhere. It's going to be in the upper part of the atmosphere, but we are watching the Saharan dust. This happens every year. This is a larger plume, though, than we're sort of used to. This is a NOAA satellite. Does a great job here when it loops through. You can see right there, that is the dust. We can see it in color. And just a couple frames here because we lost the daylight, but it's moving across the Caribbean, and this is what's going to be moving towards Texas in the next couple of days and really by later this week. So this is one of our computer models. It shows the Sahara dust, and so we're going to put it in motion here and fast forward to tomorrow at 6 o'clock. There you see one little plume of dust working into San Antonio, but there's a second bigger one that probably arrives Wednesday into Thursday, and this is not only going to affect Texas, but a large portion of the southeast. And you can see here around 1 o'clock on Thursday, we've got some dust moving into the upper parts of the atmosphere. What does that mean? Well, you'll notice some more vibrant sunsets probably. There'll be more particles in the atmosphere, and it may aggravate some allergies. We do need to pass that along. And so Thursday and Friday is sort of the days you'll probably want to watch. On top of that, we're going to see some rain showers around the area, so it's possible that some of this dust could be brought down by some of these rain showers. So there could be those droplets that really mess up your car, in other words. So that's something else, another aspect to all of this. Meantime, today, we're going to be watching for the threat of severe weather across North Texas. Already some storms up there. All of these will stay to our north. But tomorrow, similar area, we could see some storms develop, and some of those could work down into South Texas. Our rain chances, as I mentioned, will start to pick up. There are the storms right now up around Wichita Falls and Dallas, and those are really starting to die down. So again, those stay well to our north. Here's what the Futurecast looks like as we go forward in time. This is 6 o'clock. We've got a couple storms up there around San Angelo, but nothing here. As we get into tomorrow, we see some of that development up around Dallas. And this time, some of that activity moves all the way down into South Texas. Right now, this particular model has it timed out at about 6 o'clock. I'm still a little skeptical of this, but I think the chances are there. Right now, we're going to put in a 30% chance of rain coming up tomorrow, and I think it actually improves a little bit as we get into Wednesday and Thursday as more moisture moves into South Texas. Outside right now, we've got 79 degrees. Dew point is at 72. Southerly winds at about 15 miles per hour. Winds have been pretty gusty this morning. They'll stay breezy into the afternoon, and temperatures generally around 80 degrees here in Bexar County. And then you've got some temperatures a little warmer than that out towards Del Rio in the upper 70s elsewhere. Pretty typical morning. We've got the morning cloud cover. Dew points are high. And that's going to lead to some heat indices this afternoon. This is the forecast heat index, what it's going to feel like around 5 o'clock. We're talking 104 here in San Antonio, a lot of triple digits on the map. So it will be a hot summer day. Forecast for today, 97. That's the air temperature again. Heat index 102 plus here in town. And winds will be out of the south, 10 to 20 miles per hour and gusty. Here's the 7-day forecast. 30% chance of rain tomorrow. We'll watch for those storms coming in from the north. 94 your high temperature, 91 on Wednesday. There's your 40% chance of rain. Stretches Wednesday through about Friday. Hard to pinpoint timing and where we'll see some of these downpours, but I think they're there. And then things taper off towards the weekend. And of course, the dust will be with us into the weekend as well. So a little bit of a change there in the 7-day forecast. Okay, guys.
Thank you for the update. Thank you very much, Justin. Right now we're at 522, 79 degrees.
Still ahead as theaters reopen across the world. Hollywood studios are reporting box office numbers again. We'll check out how new releases are doing so far.
Let's take a look at the lottery numbers here. I'm going to read the first two. Pick three numbers, 858 with a fireball of 4. Your daily 4 numbers, 7115. Fireball is 0. And we have cash 5 as well, 3, 8, 18, 20, 32. Lotto Texas, 4, 17, 32, 37, 46, 54. And Powerball, this one's a little weird, 10, 31, 41, 63, 67. The Powerball 5, Power Play 3. New movie trailers being released as theaters start to reopen across the nation and around the world.
And here's CNN's David Daniel with the latest Hollywood Minute.
Keep me locked away as the world burns.
Son, the truth is the world is ruled by corruption and greed.
We must do something.
Certainly.
Here's your first look at the latest trailer for The King's Man, the prequel to the Kingsman movies. Rafe Fiennes and Gemma Arterton lead our heroes against history's worst tyrants and criminal masterminds when The King's Man opens in theaters September 18th.
We can't never let them break our mind. We gotta stay strong, conquer, and don't divide.
Lil Baby has pulled off a rare feat. The Atlanta rapper's My Turn is #1 on the Billboard 200 albums chart for the second straight week and the third week overall. Only a few albums have spent as much time atop that chart this year.
I'm working on a novel. It is a story of my life and my sister's.
As theaters reopen internationally, Hollywood studios are reporting box office numbers again. Sony was the first, announcing Little Women has crossed the $100 million mark in international ticket sales, for a global total of $209 million. According to The Hollywood Reporter, roughly 2,000 theaters reopened worldwide over the weekend. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Just about 5:27, 79 degrees on your Monday morning. We're so glad you're with us.
Good morning. Well, still ahead in our next half hour, protests against police brutality continue over the weekend with violence erupting in some cities across the nation.
Plus, how a local burger joint is pushing through the pandemic, despite facing coronavirus restrictions. Hope you had a great Father's Day weekend. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is June 22nd, and that smiling face is Patty Santos.
Good morning. How are you? Good to be here.
Good to have you here. We have an hour under our belt. How are you feeling about GMSA?
I'm feeling great. I'm usually, watching you on my couch, drinking my coffee,
right?
No makeup, no hairspray. Just, enjoying watching you work.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're here to help us out this morning. We need to now turn to Justin Horn and get an update on our forecast. And we've been talking not only about the Saharan dust that is inbound, but also the storms right behind your noggin.
Yeah. Thankfully, there is some stuff on the radar. We're excited that there is some rain in the forecast this week. It's been a little bit since we've seen some significant rain, and hopefully we'll get some, I'd say by midweek, late in the week. We're watching what's going on to our north. These are some storms that have really packed a punch this morning moving in towards Dallas. I think most of this is going to stay away from us. But tomorrow, if we can get some development in similar areas, some of that may actually work down in San Antonio. So there are some chances for rain going forward. In the meantime, it's cloudy out there. We're starting off very humid, warm. Temperatures in the upper 70s, close to 80 in a lot of spots. 79 Randolph, 80 right now in New Braunfels, 76 in Kerrville. Not much to worry about today other than the heat. Heat index values will be up above 100, I think, in a lot of cases this afternoon. So just be careful out there. These generally, we're talking 2, 6 o'clock. That's sort of the time frame where it gets pretty bad. Temperatures go down, though, as we go later in the week, too, because of our rain chances. So it's all looking better, other than, of course, the dust, too. We'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit. 97, the high temperature of the air. Temperature today, heat index 102 plus. Southerly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll call for partly cloudy conditions today. The roads have been fairly quiet this morning. Let's check in with Officer Marcus Trujillo. Good morning to you, sir. How are things looking at this hour?
Good morning to you too, Justin, and you're exactly right. They have been quiet, and hopefully they stay that way for the rest of the morning commute. This is the map right now, not showing any signs of any slowdowns, any hindrances for your commute this morning. Let's take a look. TransGuide, I-10, 1604 area. You can see we're starting to get a few more vehicles out there, but the important thing is one is still dark, so make sure you put both hands on the wheel. Put away those distractions, because with limited visibility, really not going to have as much time to react to something out there on the roadway. Put away those distractions, those cell phones, and those coffee cups. Mark and Patty?
Thank you, Marcus. We have late-breaking news. Police are searching for answers and evidence outside a home on the city's north side. They're trying to find out how and why a woman was shot.
Yeah, we know this is happening now in the 3000 block of Jenkins Drive near Road Drive and Thousand Oaks. Katrina Weber is there live. Katrina, what are you seeing out there?
Well, good morning. We have a lot of police activity going on at this house behind me. Police have been here since about 4 o'clock this morning. They say that it's a woman who was shot. We have had some conflicting information in terms of how many times she was shot, but a sergeant just told me she was shot twice in her upper body and her leg. And police do tell us that these injuries are life-threatening. They are looking for the person who is believed to have shot her, but police are having a hard time getting information. They have been talking to a lot of people in that home, a lot of people who police tell me do not live in the home. The woman who was shot does live here, and police say that there was something going on here. They're not exactly sure what, but they are trying to get answers again from the people who were here. That woman was rushed to a hospital and is being treated for her gunshot wounds. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you very much, Katrina. More to come on that developing story. Well, for the fourth consecutive weekend, many Americans were protesting against police brutality.
As CNN's John Lork reports, that includes a call for an investigation into an officer-involved shooting in Los Angeles County.
Tension on the street of Los Angeles County Sunday.
We wasn't being aggressive, violent, or anything like that. They just started shooting tear gas at us. And then they start shooting the rubber bullets.
Protesters there demanding answers about the fatal shooting of Andres Guardado.
It's still not real. It's still, I close my eyes and I hope and I pray that it's not really happening.
One of Guardado's relatives says the 18-year-old was working as a security guard at an auto body shop. Deputies say they were patrolling the area Thursday when they saw a man pull out a handgun and run off. The sheriff's office says after a short chase, Guardado was shot by a deputy.
A .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol was recovered at the scene. That firearm had a polymer frame with no markings or serial number.
Across the country in New York, an NYPD officer is suspended without pay after he's caught on camera allegedly using a chokehold.
Stop choking him! Yo, he's choking him! Let him go!
Officials are investigating the incident, and one person is dead and another injured after a weekend shooting in Seattle's protest zone. Police say they tried to respond to the call, but demonstrators wouldn't let them enter. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Other headlines this morning, former National Security Advisor John Bolton says he won't vote for President Trump in November. Bolton, a lifelong Republican, but he tells the Daily Telegraph he doesn't think President Trump represents the GOP. The Telegraph then inaccurately reported that meant Bolton would vote for presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden. But Bolton's spokesperson is now clarifying that Bolton won't vote for either one come November.
Well, as coronavirus numbers go up, President Trump is facing a new wave of criticism at a rally this weekend. The president said he told officials to slow down testing to curb the number of reported cases. The White House says the comment was, quote, tongue-in-cheek, but some health officials say it's frustrating for Americans who have gotten sick and have not been able to get tests. Meanwhile, the White House says they're stocking up for the possibility of a second wave.
North Korea is preparing to send 12 million leaflets into South Korea. That's after a group of defectors recently used balloons to send anti-North Korean leaflets north of the DMZ. The North says it's the largest ever distribution of leaflets to the south. More than 3,000 balloons are to carry the leaflets over the border. Last week, North Korea blew up a joint liaison office used for talks with South Korea. It's the latest sign that ties between the two countries are rapidly deteriorating.
And an intimate look at the royal family. The Duchess of Cambridge released a photo she took of Prince William and their 3 children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. The Duke of Cambridge turned 38 yesterday. Kensington Palace also released a photo of William and Prince Charles taken last December in honor of Father's Day.
Right now it is 5:37. Pick an hour, Mark. 5:37, 79 degrees.
Wake up, Mark. Still ahead, why some health experts say we are heading towards a different kind of recession as the nation tries to recover from the effects of the coronavirus.
And next, since 2005, a local restaurant's been serving original homemade burgers to residents east of downtown and beyond. We'll take a look behind the scenes at how the owner has been able to keep those burgers flipping even during coronavirus restrictions.
And here's a live cam outside. It is 5:37, 79 degrees. Happy Monday to you. Thanks for waking up with us here at GMSA.
Welcome back. 5:40. A local restaurant just east of downtown San Antonio has been serving up tasty burgers for 15 years.
Yeah, it's just one of the many local businesses having to adapt to the challenges brought on by the coronavirus. Max Massey takes us to Mark's outing and shows us how the owner was able to make big changes to keep his restaurant afloat.
This pandemic has been disastrous for small businesses across the country, business after business folding. But here at Mark's outing, he is keeping his faith, he is pivoting, and he is adapting.
So what could we do for curbside delivery? And so we decided, okay, let's just put a window here. And so that's what we did. We built a window out. It's just a window, temporary window. Turned out to be a huge success for us.
This window wasn't always here, and now that it is, along with the top-tier food and the loyal customers, Mark is back to doing what he loves.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking. We're getting close to match in February, and we're looking at the days ahead to supersede that. We're looking for the numbers to grow tremendously.
But it was not an easy journey by any means. There was a time during this pandemic where after 15 years in business, Mark thought he could lose it all.
Sometimes fear can cause you to kind of withdraw, but I've grown to learn that you have to go against the grain somewhat. I mean, when everybody's scared, trying to hold their pockets tight, cleave on everything, that's when we got to push forward. We got to work through this, because if you don't give it a shot, it just makes it harder.
Burger after burger and award after award, Mark is committed to keeping his shop open. Coming up at 9 a.m., we're going to give you an inside look at Mark in the kitchen. But for now, reporting on the east side, Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
I saw the address on the door. It was 1600 block of East Commerce. I've never met a burger I didn't like. So I think this Mark is going to have to make an outing and check out
Mark's
this place.
outing. Okay, I see what you did there.
Right now it's 5:42, 79 degrees on your Monday morning.
Well, handshakes, hugs, and fist bumps are a common type of interaction with others that could soon be a thing of the past, at least for now. Up next, a look at what could be the new social norm after coronavirus.
With many restaurants closed, events canceled, and many out of work during COVID-19, experts say we may soon be in a deeper economic recession.
But experts say there could also be another type of recession threatening our relationship between family and friends. Erica Hernandez explains.
Now that we've been behind closed doors for weeks, not only do we face an economic recession, but a social one as well. When will you feel comfortable doing this again?
I'm okay with shaking hands right now.
Just a wave, not even fist bump, not even an elbow bump. I think those are too risky.
A social recession is a fraying of social bonds. This can impact people's moods, health, ability to work and learn, as well as harm their sense of community.
Time for us to transition.
There are things we can do to make sure our social muscle doesn't atrophy. First, spend at least 15 minutes each day communicating with people other than the people you're living with. Second, make the time you do spend with people as distraction-free as possible. Third, practice moments of solitude. Fourth, reach out and help others, but keep in mind it's going to take different amounts of time for different people to feel like our new normal is normal.
Let's be more thoughtful or conscious of space from now on.
And long before novel coronavirus separated people, loneliness was rampant. One study found that 35% of people over the age of 45 were already lonely. And by most measures, more adults in the United States struggle with loneliness than smoke or have diabetes. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Thanks, Erica. The suspension of cruise line operations from ports in the United States has now been extended until September 15th. The move was agreed to by companies that are members of the Cruise Lines International Association. There's currently a no-sail order issued by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention that expires July 24th. It applies to any vessel that carries 200 or 250 or more passengers. Some cruise lines have already suspended operations well into the fall.
Dow futures overnight have been pointing to a higher opening this morning. On Wall Street, traders are starting to see more signs of gains down the road. Wall Street Journal says after weeks of tech stocks leading gains, a wider swath of companies have been trading higher lately. That's a key indicator that markets may be ready to move even higher.
And American Airlines now says it plans to put together another $3.5 billion in financing to help weather the coronavirus travel slowdowns. Both American and Delta says they're starting to see a modest recovery in demand for air travel. American Airlines has already added back flights to its scheduled for July, but numbers are still at a fraction of levels seen years ago.
5:47, time for a look at traffic with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Well, so far we've been very fortunate. Still no accidents out there on the roadways. We're hoping it stays this way throughout the rest of the morning commute. Take a look outside through TransGuide right now. 35 at Evans. No problems there from the north or southbound lanes. And we move over to I-10, 410. You can see on the east side through that construction zone. Things look pretty good and no problems there. 1604 at Bandera Road.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, how you doing?
Let's get into the Workweek Forecast.
No pressure.
Let's jump in. And the big story, of course, you've probably been reading about is the Saharan Dust. We're going to track that in just a second. First, let's take a look at what we got going on outside. We've got cloudy skies, pretty typical here in South Texas, 79 degrees. Dew point is at 72, southerly winds at about 15 miles per hour. They've been a little bit gusty too. Winds are going to be breezy through the afternoon. We may see some gusts up around 20 miles per hour. Here's the radar. Pretty quiet down here. We don't have any showers or storms, but you will see some up around Wichita Falls, Dallas. This little cluster is starting to fall apart somewhat. It'll move southeast, likely not affecting us. But the pattern changes a little bit tomorrow. We get more of a northwesterly flow. So if we do get some development up here tomorrow, some of that could work down into San Antonio. That'll be something to watch tomorrow. I'm not completely convinced of it yet. These kind of systems are kind of hard to pinpoint where they'll move, but it's just something to watch. And the computer model, at least this one, is hinting at that idea. So this afternoon, this is around 6 o'clock, we have just some isolated storms up there around San Angelo. But tomorrow, it brings some storms in around Wichita Falls and Dallas, and then watch what happens. Actually makes it down in San Antonio. That would be Tuesday afternoon. If this timing does hold, we'd have to watch for a couple strong storms too, just because where the atmosphere would be set up, and as warm as it has been, there would be some instability there. So we're going to keep a 30% chance of rain in the forecast tomorrow. It's been a while since we've seen some significant rain. This could provide that if it does indeed come to fruition. Temperature-wise, 79 at the airport, 79 Randolph, 77 Bulverde. We've got some 80s on the map this morning. It's that warm. Humidity is not going to allow us to cool down much at all. Neither will the wind. But the forecast heat index this afternoon, when you factor in that humidity, we're thinking it's going to feel like 102, 103, maybe even up to 104 here in San Antonio. You'll see some big numbers out west, too, all over South Texas, really. So if you're going to spend any time outside today, be aware. Heat index is going to be up there. So we showed you the radar. And now let's talk about what's going on with the potential for the Saharan Dust. What I'm going to do is back this up a little bit. We'll jump through the graphics here, but there it is. There's the Saharan Dust, and this is a forecast model that we have, and it'll kind of show you where the dust is scheduled to move. So this is around 6 o'clock tomorrow. There's some of the dust moving into San Antonio, and as I said earlier, this is not like a dust storm coming in, okay? This is in the upper parts of the atmosphere. What you'll notice first and foremost is a little bit of haze, and then at sunset, you'll notice the color is a little more vibrant. I think this first little wave here, not a big deal. It's towards the end of the week when we get sort of a larger swath of dust moving in. This starts Wednesday, but more so into Thursday. It will affect a large portion of Texas, really Texas all the way to Florida. And this will stick around through Friday into Saturday. So we're going to have some of this dust around in the upper part of the atmosphere. If you have allergies or you're allergic to dust, this is something you want to keep tabs on. And if we do get some rain, some of that could come down as sort of a muddy rain, if you will. Just something to keep in mind later in the week. But this is one of the bigger areas of dust that we've seen in a while. So it is notable here in the forecast. Okay, here's today's numbers. We're thinking 97 for a high breezy. Heat index will be up around 102, maybe a little bit higher than that, as we mentioned. Winds southerly, 10 to 20 miles per hour and gusty. The extended forecast will go 94 tomorrow, 30% chance of rain, 40% chance on Wednesday, so we up it a little bit. And that'll be the case Thursday and Friday. We're not going to have that ridge sitting over us. We'll have some chances for some downpours here. Hard to pinpoint the timing and location, but I feel pretty good about at least some chances around the area. And again, that dust will be with us into the weekend. Rain chances fall off, though, by Saturday and especially into Sunday. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. 5:52, 79 degrees on your Monday morning.
And a popular rock music artist has just launched the first album in a trilogy of new releases. So we'll have a preview coming up next.
Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 858, Fireball 4. Daily 4 numbers, 7115, Fireball 0.
And the cash 5, 3, 5, 3, 8, 18, 20, 32. Plus the Lotto Texas Lottery is 4, 17, 32, 37, 46, and 54.
And Powerball 10, 31, 41, 63, 67. Powerball 5, Power Play 3.
The Whitesnake singer, some of those songs needed to be brought into the 21st century.
A fulfillment of my dream and ambition for many years, and thank God I had the people, the time and resource to be able to do this, was revisiting most of my works to give them a sonic consistency.
I ain't wasting no more time. Here I go again.
With having so many different personnel changes, so many different studios, some of my work, though it was the top technology back in the 70s, doesn't really stand up even with remastering.
And here I go again on my own.
The result of an extensive studio project is the Rock album, a set of Whitesnake's hardest hitters.
And this one has got some of my favorites, and we've remixed and revisited and remastered.
The album features this previously unreleased song, Always the Same. But the Rock album is just the beginning.
We have a red, white, and blue trilogy. So starting off with the rock songs, then for October, I think we have Whitesnake love songs. And then early next year, we'll Whitesnake the blues album.
Going down the only road I've ever known.
Headbanging in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We're still ahead on our next half hour of Good Morning San Antonio. We'll have what you need to know in regards to Bexar County's new executive order requiring face masks. Let's take a look at TransGuide. 281 at Hildebrand, 410 at Callahan. Marcus is here tracking that. We'll get an update on the Workweek Forecast and the arrival of that massive Saharan dust over South Texas. That's still to come with meteorologist Justin Horn.
Record daily numbers of coronavirus have been a trend in Bexar County this past week, and yesterday we hit another one. Good morning, I'm Sarah Acosta. In just a bit, we'll give you the latest numbers on COVID-19.
Plus, a man is dead following an overnight motorcycle crash. How San Antonio police say that driver lost control.
Good morning. You're taking a live look outside. It live cam 6 in the morning on Monday, 79 degrees out there.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
We hope you had a great Father's Day weekend. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is June 22nd, and we want to welcome Patty Santos to GMSA for most of this week.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here so early in the morning.
This is a completely opposite shift for Ms. Santos. You normally work the night beat.
Yeah,
yes.
So I'm usually, sleeping at this time.
But sometimes you check out GMSA.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just not, with makeup and hairspray and all of that. But I'm watching you.
I believe it. I believe it. Let's go right now and see how things are looking out there with meteorologist Justin Horn in for Mike all this week. And I like your graphic, very summery.
Yeah, we're trying to mix it up. During the summer, you got to get creative around here. I think the title's a little too long, Working from Your Porch Forecast, but
it's not too long.
I want one of those mugs.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? KSAT mug. Yeah, a lot of people are doing that these days, working from your porch. And the forecast today, it's hot. It'd be kind of tough, but maybe you can work it out. 97 degrees, the high temperature around 4 o'clock. Maybe you work from your porch this morning and then take it inside later today. Right now, temperatures are at 79 degrees at the airport, 79 San Angelo, 81 in Del Rio. There's some cooler air up around Amarillo, 66 there. There's a boundary that's coming through, and so they're going to be a little bit cooler up there. They may see some showers and storms. We're not there yet, but I'm encouraged because I think we will see some rain chances pop up by really tomorrow, but more so by the middle part of the week. These are the forecast heat index values today. They're going to be way up there. 104 is what it's going to feel like here in San Antonio around 5 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see some big numbers everywhere, so be careful out there if you're going to spend any sort of length of time outside. Forecast calls for 90 degrees by noontime, partly cloudy, heat index 102 plus here in town, and winds will be a little bit breezy. Of course, we've all been talking about the Saharan Dust, too. We're going to have an update on how that's shaping up and how it'll affect us this week, too. That's coming up here in just a bit, but we got to talk about traffic now. And still seeing a lot of green on there, Marcus. Not much going on.
Well, we were doing great. Now, the good news is this accident's not on the highway. However, it might hinder your travel this morning if you're headed towards 35 and Laredo here in the downtown vicinity, right at the intersection. So on Laredo, not on 35, we do have a major accident currently in the clearing stages. Let's take a look outside through TransGuide. Right now, I-10, 410 on the east side, still looking pretty good, and 1604 Bandera. Starting to get a few more vehicles out there on the roadway, but still not too bad. Take a look northeast side, 410 to Starcrest. So far, no delays in anyone's travel times this morning. Patty?
All right, thanks, Mark. A top story this morning. A shooting inside a north side home has sent a woman to the hospital and sent police on a hunt to find the shooter. They found the woman in the 3300 block of Jenkins Drive, not far from Thousand Oaks. Katrina Weber is live where it happened. Katrina, have they had any luck finding out what led to this shooting?
Well, police say that is something they are having difficulties with. They talked to several adults who were inside this home at the time, and they say they're not really getting much help. Now, they've been here since about 4 o'clock this morning. The home here behind me is where it happened. Police say that they got called here. They found a woman inside who had been shot twice in her upper body and her leg. She was rushed to the hospital with what they say were life-threatening wounds. Ever since, police have been talking to several people. They say most of the people who they've talked to in that home do not actually live there. The woman did live here. They say there also were some children inside. No one else was injured. The person who did the shooting, again, police believe does not live in this home. They are out looking for that person now. They say they're not exactly sure what happened, but they do believe that somehow this was related to drugs, and they are still investigating that point, though. And again, talking to a lot of people who've been here, but according to police, not getting a whole lot of answers this morning. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Bexar County now requires face masks in most businesses as COVID-19 cases surge. That despite Governor Greg Abbott's order that masks are not mandatory.
This as our region hit new record numbers yesterday. Sarah Costa is live downtown. Sarah, when is the governor expected to give an update today?
Good morning, Mark and Patty. Today, he is expected to have a press conference at 2 p.m., which you can watch on KSAT, KSAT.com, and of course, KSAT TV streaming devices. But whether or not he will address county judge's face mask order that goes against the state's order is still to be determined. That order issued after the past 2 weeks, San Antonio has added more than 3,000 cases, making up roughly 40% of the area's total count, marking what local officials have deemed a second wave of the coronavirus. Sunday, 538 new cases were added. It's the most ever recorded case number in a single day in our area. The new cases brought to the total tally of 6,882 positive cases. The total number of 2,774 people have recovered, and we have 4,108 active cases. One new death has been reported, bringing that total number up to 97 people dying from the virus. Sunday, 538 new cases were added, and now Wolf's order states that through the end of the month, businesses in the county have until today to start requiring face masks, where 6 feet apart is not feasible. If not, businesses risk facing a fine up to $1,000 that goes directly against the state's order. Now, whether or not, like we said, Governor Abbott will address that issue today, we don't know, but make sure you tune in at KSAT at 2 p.m., KSAT.com as well, and KSAT TV streaming device. Live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Mark and Patty.
We have learned that 3 more VIA employees tested positive for COVID-19. With these additional cases, there are now a total of 14 VIA operators, 7 administrative employees, and 8 maintenance staffers who have the virus. 17 now recovering at home. The rest have been cleared to return to duty. Of the 3 new cases, 2 were operators. For more information on their routes and bus numbers, go to our website at ksat.com.
Meanwhile, Texas officials are temporarily suspending the alcohol permits for bars in violation of COVID-19 protocols. The establishments are required to limit capacity and enforce social distancing. Well, the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission says it conducted a 3-day undercover operation. Investigators found crowded scenes like these at a dozen bars in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. The bars suspended can resume selling alcohol in 30 days.
New this morning, San Antonio police say a man on a motorcycle was killed during a crash on the northeast side overnight. Happened just after 1 a.m. in the 12,000 block of O'Connor near Wurzbach Parkway. Police say the man in his 30s hit a dip in the road and lost control of the bike. Police say he flew off it and hit a fire hydrant. The motorcycle kept sliding for at least another 40 feet. Rescue crews tried to save that rider, but they were unsuccessful. No other people were hurt.
A man is behind bars this morning after police say he murdered another man earlier this month. According to an affidavit, 48-year-old Felix Sanchez allegedly shot and killed Jose Ramos Jurado back on June 13th at a bar on Vance Jackson near 410. Police say Sanchez and the victim were sitting on the back patio of the bar with a woman when they began to get into a heated argument, and shot the victim. Surveillance footage shows both Sanchez and the woman dragging the body to a nearby alley for a few hours before Sanchez returned to clean up the blood from the with bleach. He is being held on a $500,000 bond.
Also new this morning, San Antonio police are investigating an overnight cutting. Here are the details. According to officers on the scene, a man in his 20s was treated for a cut to the hand a little before 2 this morning on North Colorado near Mustang Alley. Police believe an argument over property led to the incident. In the meantime, a suspect in his 60s has been detained.
And in your morning headlines, 12 people were shot over the weekend in Minnesota. A video posted on Facebook Sunday night from peace activist KG Wilson shows crowds of people and police responding to those on the ground seemingly injured from gunshots. Investigators are still unsure what led to the shooting or exactly how many people fired their gun at the scene. One person was killed, 11 others were wounded.
Right now, 6:09 in the world of NASCAR overnight, a noose was found at the Talladega Superspeedway garage of Bubba Wallace, the circuit's top black driver. The disturbing image appearing just weeks after Wallace called for the sport to get rid of Confederate flags at events and as protests emerged ahead of NASCAR's latest race. ABC's Alex Brachet has details.
Overnight, outrage after NASCAR says a noose was found in the garage of Bubba Wallace, the only black driver who races full-time in NASCAR's Top Cup Series.
Whomever that is, I hope that you are so ashamed of yourself.
NASCAR saying the noose was found in Wallace's garage stall at Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama Sunday night, adding in a statement, "We are angry and outraged and cannot state strongly enough how seriously we take this heinous act. We have launched an immediate investigation." Wallace writing in a statement overnight that the despicable acts of racism and hatred leaves me incredibly saddened and serves as a painful reminder how much further we have to go. ESPN's Marty Smith expressing his outrage.
This sport is in a progressive mode. This sport is in a moment where this crap, this despicable crap, is not only not acceptable, but there's just no place for it.
The race, NASCAR's first with fans since the pandemic erupted, and nearly 2 weeks after NASCAR banned the Confederate flag from its events. But supporters of the symbol still waved the flag outside the superspeedway on Sunday, and a plane flew over the track towing a Confederate flag. Wallace, who's been outspoken about racial injustice in the wake of George Floyd's killing, said this last weekend.
I'm standing up with my peers and with my following, my platform to stand up for what's right and to create change.
Wallace added in response to that news, quote, "This will not break me. I will not give in, nor will I back down. I will continue to proudly stand for what I believe." Alex Brachet, ABC News, Washington.
6:11, 79 degrees.
We continue to shine a light on students in and around San Antonio, but this time with college graduates. After the break, we'll introduce you to the woman from UIW looking forward to helping others during this challenging time.
Outside with live cam on your Monday. This is going to look clear compared to the rest of the week as far as the skyline over downtown San Antonio, waiting for that Saharan dust to come through. It's going to be a murky week. Justin has details coming up. .15, welcome back on your Monday morning. As you may already know, we've been shining a light on high school graduates in and around the San Antonio area.
Well, this year we are also featuring our local college graduates. With the coronavirus pandemic, 2020 has been a challenging year for many graduates.
Needless to say, our Stephanie Cerna introduces us to a recent graduate from the University of the Incarnate Word, who's a veteran and a nurse looking forward to helping others during this challenging time.
My mother's actually a nurse, and just seeing everything that she did really inspired me.
Rhonda Catalina has always been drawn to the medical field, so when she joined the Navy as enlisted, she was a hospital corpsman.
So I spent about 7 years doing medical care in the Navy and transitioned to this side. So my dream's always been to be a nurse. It just took me about 10 years to get there.
Rhonda now has a bachelor's in science nursing, and through the Navy's medical enlisted commissioning program, Rhonda was able to remain active duty throughout nursing school at the University of the Incarnate Word.
After I graduated, I got commissioned into the U.S. Navy Nurse Corps. So in a couple months, I'll be moving to North Carolina and working at a naval hospital there. I transferred from the enlisted side to the officer side. So I'm starting out as an 01 in the Nurse Corps.
Rhonda is originally from Shelbyville, Illinois, but her service has taken her to Italy, San Diego, and San Antonio, where she says she did a lot of community outreach with the Incarnate Word.
They focus on not just the educational material, but like a holistic and spiritual aspect of caring for people. And they really care about like the underserved populations and reaching out to them and giving us the tools that we need to help people. So it was a really special experience to learn at the Incarnate Word.
Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News.
We wish her the very best. Right now, 6:17. We're already at work, so we don't have to worry about being on the road right
but
now.
there's a lot of people on a Monday morning heading out, and let's check in with Marcus Trujillo. I'm seeing a little bit of yellow and red, orange out there.
Just a little bit, and we're having a problem just outside the downtown area. So this major accident is on Laredo Street, right on the bridge. If you're coming from the west side, making your way eastbound towards Laredo. So the accident is right there over that bridge that goes over the creek. And that's where we have this still in the clearing stage. So 35 would be more behind me. And as you see, as soon as we can get that accident cleared up, we can get that traffic moving once again. But currently, that's the only slowdown that we're seeing.
Thank you, Marcus. And we're still watching, guys, what's going on in the upper part of the atmosphere with this Saharan Dust. It's been a big story this week. And we can actually see it on satellite picture. This is from NOAA, and this is colorizing. You got to look at just the first couple frames there because we lost daylight. But you can see that dust is making its way into the Caribbean, and it will move into Texas a little bit later this week. So it is something that bears watching. What does it mean for us? Well, we're going to see some hazy atmosphere probably going forward. And you'll notice some more vibrant sunsets. We're going to get a first little wave here probably tomorrow. Won't make that much of a difference. I think Thursday and Friday is when you'll really start to notice it. And it may aggravate some allergy issues. If you have asthma, something like that, it is something you want to keep tabs on. It's going to be fairly dense as it moves into Texas. This is one of the bigger clouds that we've seen. Now, we get this every year. This is not a big surprise or anything like that, but it does make a little bit of a difference. And if we do see some rain, it could also, you may also notice that you'll see some of those mud droplets. Your car could get a little bit dirtier. So just something we'll be watching later this week. And it not only affects us, but a large portion of the country, it looks like. Florida all the way over to Texas. So as we look at the radar this morning, we do have some showers and storms up there across North Texas. These are kind of falling apart. But I want to show you the computer model because while these will probably miss us today and things will be fairly quiet here around South Texas, it's tomorrow where we'll get some development up here and some of that may make its way down into our area tomorrow. Now this computer model, which is different from the one we showed you earlier, brings some showers and storms in tomorrow morning and then perhaps develops more tomorrow afternoon. Either way, we're going to put some rain chances in the forecast tomorrow. Right now, about a 30% shot. We may get some of that on Wednesday and Thursday, too. It's really going to depend on where some of these boundaries set up and where these storms initially develop. But the good news is that we do have some rain chances in the forecast. So we showed you the Futurecast there. Let's go outside for you now. We've got cloudy skies, 79 degrees, dew point is at 71, southerly winds at about 14 miles per hour. This morning cloud deck should stick around another couple of hours, and then we'll see things clear out this afternoon. Temperatures have not cooled down much at all. We still got some 80s on the map this morning. New Braunfels, you're checking in at 80 degrees. 75 Comfort, 76 in Hondo, and 81 out there in Del Rio. Humidity is way up there. I wish I could tell you humidity would go away, but it really doesn't look that way. Dew points will stay in the 70s all the way through the week, so it's going to stay muggy. The problem really is today because we'll have the high humidity levels. We'll have some of those big afternoon daytime highs, and so the heat index is going to jump into the triple digits, I think, this afternoon. It's not only here, too, out in West Texas, they're going to see some big numbers. They got heat advisories posted out there. We're not quite to advisory level, but be careful if you're going to be outside for any length of time today. 97 your high temperature, breezy, southerly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Heat index will be 102 plus in some cases, even here around San Antonio. And then as far as rain chances go, right now, 30% chance tomorrow. We're going to up it to a 40% chance Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But as I said, it really depends on where some of those outflow boundaries set up next few days we'll be able to refine this forecast as we get a little bit closer. But my hope is that we will get some downpours, just maybe mixed with a little bit of dust, especially later in the week.
My grass could definitely use it.
Right, and it's going to be some muddy downpours, perhaps.
Yes.
Our cars are going to be a mess. 621, 79 degrees.
Coming up after the break, we will have the new details on an investigation involving 2 Idaho parents and their connection with their children's death. That's next on GMSA.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a Polar Pop. We are Circle K.
It's starting to happen every day. People are surprising themselves the moment they realize they can do more with less asthma. Thanks to Dupixent, the add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Dupixent isn't for sudden breathing problems. It can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and help prevent severe asthma attacks. It's not a steroid, but can help reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. And don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Do more with less asthma. Talk to your doctor today about Dupixent. If your financial situation has changed, we may be able to help.
In this morning's GMA First Look, new details from the investigation into Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Cell phone pings led investigators to this spot in Chad Daybell's backyard.
Detectives and investigators have recovered what's believed to be human remains.
The gruesome discovery, the bodies of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, the children of Chad's wife Lori, last seen in September.
Ever since she's been involved in this doomsday cult, that is not the same Lori that we knew for 13 years.
Vallow has been charged with 2 counts of felony abandonment of a child. Daybell was arrested in June and charged with 2 counts of concealment of evidence, neither charged with murder, but both pleading not guilty. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you what investigators are saying this morning and what's next for Vallow and Daybell. With your GMA's First Look, I'm Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, New York.
The time right now, 6:26. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Still ahead, looking into a new kind of recession and how it can affect your health in some different ways, how isolation or the pandemic plays a big part.
Plus, a local restaurant is just one of the many businesses dealing with the economic downfall of the pandemic. Our Max Massey gives us a preview of how the popular spot is staying afloat.
And we're checking TransGuide right now. Just got a traffic alert from Officer Marcus Trujillo in the last few minutes about a major accident. He will have the very latest coming up next.
A shooting here in this Northside home has police searching for answers. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you what they found so far.
Local testing sites overwhelmed as coronavirus cases in Bexar County soar. Good morning, I'm Sarah Acosta. In just a bit, we'll tell you about a new testing site that's opening today.
New coronavirus concerns from our nation's top doctors. Now the White House says it's preparing for a possible spike this fall. I'm Alex Brachet in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And outside with live cam, this is a relatively clear shot compared to the way things are going to be for the rest of the week. Mother Nature importing tons of dust from the Saharan Desert right here over South Texas. Anna, good morning to you. It is Monday. It is June 22nd, and we are once again welcoming Patty Santos to the anchor desk this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I know I don't get to see everyone in this early, but I'm here.
Normally you live on the 10 p.m. news, but we brought you in super early today.
Just switch things up.
Just switch things up.
Make things a little more exciting.
Got to keep us on our toes,
exactly.
Right? Let's see how things are looking on the roads right now with Officer Marcus Trujillo. And about 6 minutes ago, you sent out another traffic
Actually,
alert.
I sent it out earlier than that.
Did you?
Yes. Talked about it the last hit. Major accident on Laredo, just outside of the downtown vicinity. Okay. It's just about wrapped up. Hopefully, we'll get things moving on once again.
Thank you, sir. Yep. Justin?
And you mentioned the dust. It's kind of like at this point, oh, what else are we going to have to deal with these days? But yes, it is in the forecast. We'll talk about what it means for our forecast coming up here in just a bit. For the meantime, today, hot. Heat index is going to be up around 102. I think it could be a little bit higher than that here in San Antonio, so take precautions if you're going to be out and about in the heat. Potential for some storms tomorrow. That's the good news. The bad news is a few of those could be on the strong side. There's enough instability there where we have to look at that possibility. We'll of course, keep you posted. And then we mentioned the dust. That's going to be coming in really towards the end of the week, at least the bigger plume of dust. And we'll have some more rain chances, too, so a lot to look at in the forecast. Forecast heat index this afternoon up around 104 here in San Antonio. We could see some higher numbers out west and also off to the east where humidity levels will be higher. So it is going to be a very hot summer-like afternoon. Temperatures look like this: 90 by noontime, 96 by 3 o'clock, 97 the high temperature. And winds will be breezy too out of the south, 10 to 20 miles per hour. All right, let's get back to Marcus. And you mentioned that accident. So
it was
right now.
Well, the officers just driving off and clearing this accident. But here's where we did have this. We're having it. It wasn't on the main lanes of 35. It was just outside on Laredo Street, but it was blocking 2 lanes, so folks were not able to make it to 35. Now all things are open back again. Now this is 35 at Suboticals. You can see north and southbound lanes still running smoothly at this point. Mark and Patty.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Police say an overnight shooting on the north side may be related to drugs. They found the victim, a woman, inside a home in the 3300 block of Jenkins Drive, not far from Thousand Oaks. Katrina Weber is live there with a report. Katrina, can you tell us what's the condition on the woman?
Well, the only word we've had from police is that she is in the hospital. She was shot twice, once in the upper body, once in the leg. And police say that these are life-threatening injuries. Now, they have brought in detectives here. They are still working in and around this house. Police have been here since about 4 o'clock this morning. They've been talking to several adults. We've seen them talking to people both inside the house and outside in the driveway. Police say none of these people lives here. The woman who was shot did live here, though. And there are also some children inside, but they say they were not hurt. The police tell us that they have not been getting a whole lot of answers from the people here, but they suspect that this somehow is tied to drugs, and that is the angle that they are looking at. And again, still trying to figure out who that person is who shot the woman and trying to track down that man. They do say it is a man who they are looking for. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
As we've seen record numbers of COVID-19 cases in the county, and local testing centers have become overwhelmed. Sarah Costa joins us live from downtown. And Sarah, Freeman Coliseum is booked. How is the city responding?
Good morning, Mark. Yeah, the Coliseum is booked through Tuesday, but the city is responding by opening up another testing center. This one is going to be on the far west side. It's going to be a drive-through testing center. They'll be conducted at the Bexar County Emergency Services District 2 Fire Station number 121. That's going to open up today from 8 this morning to 4 p.m. It's located on Talley Road. You can find that address on KSAT.com. Now, residents must register before going to get tested. Anyone who is experiencing symptoms including fever, cough, the inability to taste or smell, and shortness of breath could be tested. Symptoms can appear anywhere from 2 days to 14 days after exposure, according to the CDC. Other places where you can get tested for no cost include Centromed at the Palo Alto Clinic. That's going to be on Poteet-Jordanton Freeway, the Texas Med Clinic on Southwest Military, and at a Walmart on West Military. Remember, all of these locations are by appointment only and are drive-through testing sites. Now, there are several other privately owned businesses in town that are also doing testing. You can find that full list and all that information right now on KSAT.com. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Mark and Patty.
Meanwhile, at least a dozen states have seen record numbers of COVID-19 cases since Friday.
Yeah, the former head of the FDA now saying that Texas, Florida, and Arizona could see an exponential rise this week. ABC's Alex Preche has the details.
Today, a major milestone. New York City, once the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, will enter phase 2 of reopening. Restaurants prepared over the weekend, setting up socially distanced outdoor seating for patrons. But doctors are sounding the alarm elsewhere. At least 11 states set record highs in cases this weekend. Hospitalizations are up in 17, And the former head of the Food and Drug Administration warns that Arizona, Texas, and Florida could see exponential growth this week.
The challenge with exponential growth is everything looks okay until suddenly it doesn't. And so this is something that has to be a concern of everyone that's been watching this.
Florida, one of those states that opened early, has already had more than 3,100 deaths.
I don't feel like people are doing enough of a job of keeping social distancing and keeping masks on their face. People are getting a little bit more tired of wearing these masks, but this is not the time to do that.
More than half of their reported cases this past Saturday were patients under the age of 35. The governor, who first attributed the increase to more testing, now admitting there's more to it.
That's an indication, certainly in that age group, that you're seeing more transmission in the community. It's not purely just a function of the fact that they're testing more.
The White House says it's making preparations for a spike later this year.
We are filling the stockpile in anticipation of a possible problem in the fall.
I saved hundreds of thousands of lives.
But the president, who boasted about his coronavirus leadership during a rally in Tulsa this weekend, is now facing criticism for saying this.
When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
The president's allies are defending him, saying that that was just a joke. There are roughly 6,200 people at that rally. Now, Oklahoma health officials are urging anyone who's attended a large gathering in recent weeks to get tested. Alex Berchet, ABC News, Washington.
Well, people all across the country and across the world have been impacted by the pandemic. That includes knowing someone who contracted the illness or is dealing with the economic fallout.
Our Max Massey takes us to Mark's outing, not mine, and shows us how the owner was able to make big changes to keep his restaurant afloat.
This pandemic has been disastrous for small businesses across the country, business after business folding. But here at Mark's outing, he is keeping his faith, he is pivoting, and he is adapting.
So what could we do for curbside delivery? And so we decided, okay, let's just put a window here. And so that's what we did. We built a window out. It's just a window, temporary window. Turned out to be a huge success for us.
This window wasn't always here, and now that it is, along with the top-tier food and the loyal customers, Mark is back to doing what he loves.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking. We're getting close to match in February, and we're looking at the days ahead to supersede that. We're looking for the numbers to grow tremendously.
But it was not an easy journey by any means. There was a time during this pandemic where after 15 years in business, Mark thought he could lose it all.
Sometimes fear can cause you to kind of withdraw, but I've grown to learn that you have to go against the grain somewhat. I mean, when everybody's scared, trying to hold their pockets tight, cleave on everything, that's when we got to push forward. We got to work through this, because if you don't give it a shot, it just makes it harder.
Burger after burger and award after award, Mark is committed to keeping his shop open. Coming up at 9 a.m., we're going to give you an inside look at Mark in the kitchen. But for now, reporting on the east side, Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Burgers. Is there a bad time to have a burger?
I don't think so. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm getting hungry after this story.
And I've never tried a burger with a fried egg on it yet. I know that's been a thing for a while now, but I've never tried it. Have you?
Both things sound really good
know,
right now,
right?
so let's try it.
The winning combination. We'll take two, please. 639, 79 degrees.
Avoiding the fray of social bonds. Coming up next, the impact a social recession could have on people's moods, health, and ability to work as Americans stay cooped up at home. Well, from restaurant owners to event organizers, millions are out of work due to COVID-19.
As a result, experts say the country is already in an economic recession, but is another type of recession brewing? KSAT's Erika Hernandez reports.
Now that we've been behind closed doors for weeks, not only do we face an economic recession, but a social one as well. When will you feel comfortable doing this again?
I'm okay with shaking hands right now. Just a wave, not even fist bump, not even an elbow bump. I think those are too risky.
A social recession is a fraying of social bonds. This can impact people's moods, health, ability to work and learn, as well as harm their sense of community.
Time for us to transition.
There are things we can do to make sure our social muscle doesn't atrophy. First, spend at least 15 minutes each day communicating with people other than the people you're living with. Second, make the time you do spend with people as distraction-free as possible. Third, practice moments of solitude. Fourth, reach out and help others, but keep in mind it's going to take different amounts of time for different people to feel like our new normal is normal.
Let's be more thoughtful or conscious of space from now on.
And long before novel coronavirus separated people, loneliness was rampant. One study found that 35% of people over the age of 45 were already lonely. And by most measures, more adults in the United States struggle with loneliness than smoke or have diabetes. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Time check, 6:44.
And right now it is, 6:44. We're going to go out. Some of the people are going out to head to work.
Let's get the latest on traffic from Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And right now, we've cleared that accident that we did have in the downtown vicinity. Let's take a look outside through TransGuide. Up on the northeast side, 410 at Austin Highway, starting to get a little bit busier out there. So we do have some folks that are out and about there. 281 at Hildebrand, completely different story. Just a handful of vehicles out there. But look at I-10, 410 over on the east side through that construction zone. A little busier. Just remember, slow down through those construction zones and both hands on the wheel. Put away those distractions.
Let's give some perspective, and I know you want to do an aquifer update. Perspective. So this week, no car wash week. Maybe next week, completely great. All clear car wash week.
Right. It could work out that way, especially if we get some rain when some of this dust is moving in. It's going to dirty the cars for sure. But next week, then the car washes will be really busy.
And we did have some showers around for part of the weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a few around. Nothing has been terribly heavy. I think we're going to get some maybe better downpours as we get towards the middle part of this week and at the end of the week. Rainfall would be good. The aquifer, as of this morning, it's 661 even. It's down about half a foot from where it was yesterday. And as we look at the 10-day average, this is the important number because remember, if we have a 10-day average of 660, then we're talking about restrictions here. We're still a ways away from that, but the 10-day average right now is 662.9. Some rainfall would be very helpful. And here's what I'm thinking as far as rainfall chances go. Not much today. We've got some storms up there across parts of the Metroplex, and those are shifting south, but I don't think they'll make it in here. But as we look at the future clouds and precipitation, this is just one of our computer models. It does show that we could get some activity maybe tomorrow. This is this evening, not much there. But watch what happens up across North Texas. This all works south and east. The upper level pattern brings a lot of this activity down into our neck of the woods, probably weakening some as it does. This would be around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, this model does show some more developing here around San Antonio. So the possibility is there. Right now, about a 30% chance of rain in the forecast tomorrow. It's really going to depend on where some of these outflow boundaries set up. But my hope is that we could have some decent downpours. And I should mention that some of those storms could be on the strong side tomorrow. It's possible. Not looking for widespread severe weather, but a stronger storm or two cannot be ruled out. And at this point, we may also see some showers and storms on Wednesday. We talked about the dust a little bit. This is the computer model showing where the dust is right now over the Caribbean. This is a pretty significant plume of dust. We'll get one little wave, it looks like, moving in Tuesday, tomorrow. But the more significant area of dust arrives, looks like late Wednesday into Thursday. And again, what does this mean for us? It means a hazy sky, it means some vibrant sunsets. But if you have allergies, it is something you got to watch because if you're allergic to dust or anything like that, it could affect you, especially if we see large quantities of it. It's not going to be like a dust storm moving in. This is in the upper part of the atmosphere, but it does have some effects on us. And we also mentioned if we could get some of this to mix with the rain, we're talking about maybe some mud developing on some of the cars. So that'll be the case, looks like towards the end of the week and even into the weekend. Okay, let's talk about what's going on outside. Sun is up now. We've got cloudy skies. Temperatures at 79 degrees. Dew point is at 71. That's awful high. Southerly winds at about 14 miles per hour. Winds been a little bit breezy overnight. We've stayed pretty much steady here in the upper 70s. That has not changed. It's warm everywhere. Dew points are high too. Got dew points generally in the 70s in most spots with a good southerly fetch here. Expect these dew points to stay right there. They may come down a little bit this afternoon, but it's going to create a heat index. And I think in many cases it'll be over 100. even here in San Antonio. So be prepared for the heat this afternoon. There's heat advisories posted out across West Texas. Not so much here. We're just below that advisory threshold, but it's still a time period this afternoon. I'd say between 2 and 5. You got to be careful out there. Forecast calls for a high right around 97. Breezy southerly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And here's how the forecast plays out. Right now, 30% chance of rain Tuesday. I'm going to up it to a 40% chance Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just because it looks like we could have some decent downpours there, and the rain chances taper off as we get into the weekend. Brings the temperatures down too. We're going 97 today, but we're down to maybe upper 80s by Friday, guys.
You know, it would be good to take a picture of your car today and versus Friday. See
Before,
how that
after?
dust settles in. Yeah, we'll have to see.
My truck would be dirty and dirtier. That's my before after. 649, 79 degrees.
Well, tomorrow on GMSA at 6, new research shows staying isolated, which is something most Americans are doing right now, may cause chronic inflammation. We look at what you can do to protect yourself from it. That's tomorrow on Good Morning San Antonio.
The morning has flown by. Outside with Live Cam, the news you need to know before you go this morning is next.
Overnight trouble inside this north side home has police starting the morning with a shooting investigation. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. The person who was shot is a woman who lives in this home. Police say she was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Now, officers rushed here around 4 o'clock this morning after getting a 911 call. They found the woman inside her home in the 3300 block of Jenkins Drive, not far from Thousand Oaks. Police tell us she was shot twice in the upper body and leg. What they still don't know is who shot her. Officers interviewed several people who they say were inside the home at the time but do not live here, and they say those people weren't able to offer much help. The police told me they believe the shooting may be related to drugs somehow. They tell us there were several children inside the home at the time, but they were not hurt. Reporting from the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
City testing centers overwhelmed as coronavirus soars in Bexar County. Good morning, I'm Sarah Acosta. Freeman Coliseum, which is one of the main public testing centers for COVID-19 in the city, is booked through Tuesday. This is the city continues to see record number of positive cases in the last week. The city will open a new drive-through testing site on the far west side today. Testing will be conducted at the Bexar County Emergency Services District 2 Fire Station number 121 today from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. It's located on Tally Road. Our address is listed online. This is not the only free testing center. There are several others which you can find online at KSAT.com right now. These are all drive-through sites that you need to have an appointment before you go. There are about a dozen private businesses conducting testing as well. Like I said, you can just head to KSAT.com where you can find all of that information and a list of those sites. From downtown, I'm Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
We have begun our initial descent into the end of the newscast. What do you say we check traffic, Patty?
Yeah, let's do. Officer Marcus Trujillo, what's going on out there?
Well, Mark and Patty, traffic's still moving around fairly well right now as we take a look at the roadway. I-10 and Callahan, you can see east and westbound lanes, no issues at this point. Then 1604 up on the northwest side, little glare there, so make sure you take your sunglasses with you. You cut down on the glare. Justin?
Thanks, sir. Mostly cloudy skies out there this morning. We'll see some sun this afternoon, up to 97. With that humidity, though, it's going to feel like 102. In some cases, southerly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. We'll get some chances of storms coming up tomorrow, maybe even tomorrow morning, and then some more scattered showers and storms Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The other big story, of course, the Saharan Dust that will be in the atmosphere, especially later this week. We may get some hazy skies, and we'll see if it mixes with some of this rain that we have in the forecast. It'll be hit or miss every day, but there are some chances there.
Thank you, guys. Patty, it's been great having you here this morning. You're with us through Wednesday?
Yes, I'll be here at 9 too.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.